Hi guys, Squirrel here. Welcome to another episode of Transport Fever 2, the incredible series where we're trying to get to $1 billion, but we already did ages ago, and we're just playing it for fun now, learning new things. I have been reading your comments, and we'll go through some stuff in a second, but I just want to say massive shout out to you guys for all the feedback you've been giving. It's been great reading a lot of the comments and feedback. I'm glad you're enjoying it all. If you're new, what the heck are you doing on this episode? You should be back at episode 1, so don't forget to subscribe if you are new, and by all means watch the rest of the series. We've done some pretty cool stuff. You can see the whole map develop all the way from 1870 or whatever it was we started on. Now it's a sprawling thing. It really is. 1994 we're almost in the year 2000, when I think there's a bunch of stuff unlocks. So what's this episode going to be about? Oh, and by the way, if you do want to play the map or anything like that, or the mods I'm using, check out the video description. It's got everything you need to jump in and play the map yourself and use all the mods that we're using. This episode is about, I'm calling it reflections. We're going to reflect on a few things. Some of it's prompted by some comments that I read. Some of it's prompted by just some things we need to do. And there's also one or two things that are just missing. For example, I read a comment to say that one of the bus routes was broken. I think it was, or didn't exist. Was it Twickenham? I think somebody said. They were saying the reason you're not getting any passengers down at your train station is because you don't have a bus link. And when I looked at it, they're entirely correct. I'm not actually bringing passengers from Twickenham to the bus station. So there's no wonder the passenger service isn't doing particularly well right now and is in fact hemorrhaging money. So the first thing I'm going to do is very quickly fix that. While we do this, I want to show you, we're also going to look at some of the cities as well and just see if the bus circuits are running correctly, if we need to upgrade any bus circuits, and just check out to make sure that the road that the bus lines are using has bus lanes on it. And I want to show you a little trick which you may not know about, which can be very useful when you're checking that out. So I'll show you that now. First of all, we're going to create a bus route, so we need to think about where it's going to go. So really, we've already got a nice bus route here, Twickenham buses, which is a nice kind of intercity thing. It does stop at that station there, which pretty much we can stop it from doing now. There is literally no point in that happening. Actually, no, there is a point in it happening. It's because it's interchanging. Stupid me. There is a point in that happening. Put it back. Put it back, squirrel. Put it back. Yes, the bus exchange is there. We are going to put a train line here, as you can see here, very soon. At that point, we'll probably ditch entirely this whole bus connection between Hyde and Twickenham. It will be replaced by a road network, but not to get off topic. What we want to do is we want to take people out of here and interchange with some of these nice bus stations that we've got going here. So the question is, how do we do it? How do we want to bring people in? Obviously, they're going to come in down this road here. And then maybe they'll go up this road. Do we go to Victoria and Springfield? Stanley's a bit of an awkward stop, to be fair, where it is. So it might well be that we move Stanley over to here, possibly, and then put a bus stop on that side. So what we'll do is we'll put a bus stop here, and we'll put one on this side. And then we'll quickly change Stanley. Instead of stopping there, I want you to stop here, and we'll get rid of Stanley completely. We'll just delete that. So any passengers that are here will just walk around the corner now. There you go. So they'll just walk around to the nearest bus stop. That allows us to have a line come in. So this is going to be buses, Twitch. I swear my hand automatically types Twitch every time I start the word Twickenham train packs, we'll call that. Just the world's most random name. And we'll colour it a light blue, light purplish colour. So we're going to start from this stop here, and then we'll go to opposite this thing here. So we'll come like that, and then we'll go down to, and we'll interchange with that one. We don't want it to be a long run. That's the thing. That's the key to this. So I think what we'll do then is go to here and just, that will keep it nice and quick. And we'll put some decent quick buses on this. Let's just quickly do that. If we can find a depot nearby, I think that's the nearest one. So we're looking for a bit of speed here. Not necessarily massive capacity, but we certainly want to keep the speed up. 90 is great. A little bit overkill for what we're doing, but yeah, given the distances, that extra speed and capacity might well be the thing we need. So we'll stick 4 of those on there. Cut them in a nice purplish colour. Stick them on. Right, so while we're at Twickenham, let's have a look and see if we can spot if our bus lines are actually running on roads that have bus lanes. Because if they're not, and we will see this later in one of the other cities, there is a place where it's not. And what's happening at that city is the buses are getting stuck in the traffic, because when they don't have bus lanes, and if you've got a lot of traffic on a road, they'll get jammed up. And when they get jammed up, they can't move passengers. And when they can't move passengers, quite literally, passengers don't get on the bus line anymore because it's so infrequent. The buses don't come because they're getting stuck. And it causes all kinds of knock-on effects. It can then make your trains run inefficiently, and it'll cost a lot of money. So how do we check it? Well, if you press the L key to bring up the line manager, it rather nicely shows you the lines, but what you can't really see is what kind of road the buses are going down. It's a bit tricky to see. So how do we solve that? The way you solve it is, let's say Twickenham train packs. If we double click on that, that'll bring up the line itself. We'll click pin, which just pins it, and then close the main line window. And what that now gives us is the line overlaid on top of the road. Yeah. So now we can very easily see whether it's going down a bus lane. And there you go. There is a piece of road that is not on a bus lane. So straight away, we're going to go in and upgrade that. It's going to be a bit of an expensive upgrade, because obviously some of these big skyscrapers are just getting destroyed right now. So there is a penalty to pay, but ultimately you can't have your buses being slowed down. So you've just got to do it. It will grow back. It's fine. So that is the purple one. And unfortunately, you don't have to do it for the Twickenham buses. You've got to pin that, close this. It's a bit of a pain. It would be lovely if the game provided it with a nicer way of doing it. If you happen to know of a nicer way of doing this, by all means post in the comments, but I don't know of one. This is the only way I know. So you see that if we didn't have a bus lane and we had a bus coming here, they would just set in all this traffic, and it would be an absolute disaster. We might want to think about doing something with this road here. We can see there's a lot of cars are coming right through this road. I'm not entirely sure why without looking into it more, but I can see there's a huge traffic build-up coming into town, which is interesting. One second. Let's have a look at the destinations. Yeah, so they're trying to get through here, and they're pretty much getting stuck. So, this is where you can make a judgment call and consider, should I make that a larger road? Just make it a big, chunky road, because it is quite invasive and destructive, but sometimes you just need to have that kind of major artery going right through. So wait till the autosave finishes. Come on, game. And then you come in and you go something like this. You do it early before Twickenham gets too big, and you pay it reaps dividends later. So that will just help traffic going through. And then you might want to consider adding more lanes onto here. It's your map, ultimately. Just have a look at what's going on and see if you can fix it. And, traffic's starting to flow a bit better already, so maybe that was a decent fix. Anyway, that should get some packs. There we go. Hey! That should get some packs down to the train station. So thank you for the comments on that one. That one is now sorted. Very good spot. There was also another comment about why we had tools hanging around here. And what's kind of weirdly happening is tools are being brought back on the ship on this line here, the green line. If I can find it, the Bradford tools. Where are you, ships? There you go. Let's bring it to there. This one here, this green line. Tools are being left on the platform, being brought back to go on to Bradford. Well, I've stopped all that by changing the filter and stopping the ships from picking tools up and bringing them back. There's nothing wrong technically with it happening, because if the demand is there, they'll bring tools back this way and drop them off here, even though the factory's like literally here. It's just a bit it's uncontrolled delivery, which is fine. It's nothing bad about it. It just means you can't control it, right? Because it's uncontrolled, if that makes sense. Anyway, right. So one of the biggest comments I had, and this is where it's going to get a bit of a deep conversation, I guess. One of the biggest comments I had was, oh my God, Squirrel, why do you keep creating train lines that are basically point-to-point shuttle services? So I've got a shuttle service from Mablethorpe down to Loughton, yeah? And then I've got a shuttle service, I think, which goes from Loughton to Romsey. And then I've got a shuttle service which goes from Romsey down to Bradford to Romsey, sorry, which is this one here. And then we've got a final shuttle service from Bradford down to Sandhurst. There's an opportunity, some people say, to have a massive intercity line, which comes from Mablethorpe, through Loughton, down through Romsey, down to Bradford, down to Sandhurst. Why don't you just do that? Why have you got shuttles? Is the question. Now, there is no right and wrong answer here. Some of it's down to preference, okay, personal preference, whether you want to have shuttles. Because let's take a scenario where people want to come out of Loughton and they want to get to Bradford, okay? So they're going to come out of Loughton and get to Bradford. First thing they'll do is get on a bus. They get on a bus and take themselves to a train station. They'll then jump on the train, which shuttles them down to Romsey. They'll then get off the platform at Romsey, jump onto the other platform, and take the next shuttle down to Bradford, at which point they will get a bus and go into wherever they're going, shopping or working, whatever. That's the shuttle method. The other method is the Intercity, which basically means, in the same scenario, they get on the bus, they go to the train station at Loughton, they get on the train, which goes all the way down to Romsey. They don't get off the train, they stay on it and wait for the next stop, which is Bradford. They then get off, get the bus. So they saved themselves, basically, the exchange at Romsey. They didn't have to get off, jump onto a different train and carry on again. Which is better? Which is better? Which is a better model for a passenger? Which is a better model for a logistic network? There's pros and cons. As always, there's pros and cons. The pros of my shuttle method are that passengers can freely, like every time this train pulls in, everybody gets off. Yeah? Because they either get off because they wanted to go to Romsey, or they get off because they want to get the next train onto Bradford. The problem with the Intercity model is that if they want to go to Bradford, they don't get off at Romsey. They stay on the train, and that keeps a seat on the train. That's one passenger that can't get on that train, and they have to then possibly wait for the next train. Now, depending on the dynamics of the cities, that could lead to problems. You can have a whole lot of people waiting at Romsey to get on the train. They can't get on it because everybody wants to stay on the train and carry on down to Bradford. I'm sure you've all experienced that. You've all gone to a train station and you can't get on. Yeah? The train's full. There's no standing room. There's no seating room. You've got to wait for the next one. It happens. I've experienced it many times. The shuttle method gets away with that because, well, you're just shuttling people point to point. There is no good and bad. There's only choice. In real life, trains will go... They'll have a combination of both, in a way. What they'll have is they'll have faster trains, which make fewer stops, and then slower trains, which make multiple stops. And they tend not to do the shuttle thing. Yeah? But I want to explain what I've done and why I've done it, and you need to understand what the consequences will be if you change it. With all that being said, you need to do some data analysis. So if you click on a city like Mablethorpe and Sutton, click on destinations, and then we'll sort it by work. And we'll have a look where people are trying to get to. So straight away, you can see a lot of people move around Mablethorpe itself. You can see here, they go shopping and to work. That's fine. A lot of people want to get to Loughton. Yeah. So they'll get on that train to Loughton. However, a lot of people also want to go to Bradford. And then not quite as many people onto Romsey. And hardly anybody wants to go to Sandhurst. So with that in mind, a train that goes from Mablethorpe to Loughton, which we already have as a shuttle, but then carried on and went through to Romsey, that would benefit those people. And then it comes down to Bradford, and there's a lot of people want to go to Bradford. So an intercity train which goes to Bradford is not a bad shout. It's not a bad plan. I would argue you would not carry on to Sandhurst because there's just not enough demand. You would leave Sandhurst as a shuttle. Now, looking at Bradford, Bradford is interesting because the line also branches. It goes off to Romsey and it branches off to Micheldean, which kind of makes Bradford somewhat of a hub in the making. Yeah? It could even, if you wanted it to, branch out this way and go over to Princess Risborough. You know, it could quite literally be a hub. You could also bring a line off this way and take it over to Henley. You know, there's lots of options. Bradford's not a bad hub choice, which makes it a good spot for an intercity destination. So I think, you know, all things being said, and we don't have to do this, but I think we'll do it anyway. What we'll do is we'll take these trains, for example, here, the one that goes from Bradford to Romsey. We'll make the line, we'll remove the shuttle from here to Romsey, and the shuttle from Romsey to Loughton, and the shuttle from Loughton to Mablethorpe, and we'll have it as one big intercity drop. And we'll have to add more trains. They'll have to be very quick trains because there's a long way to cover, and we'll see how it goes. Part of the reason that you sometimes see asymmetry like this is because of the shuttle method, where people come in, jump over to another platform, and wait to carry on somewhere else. If we have the intercity model, we might see less of that. But equally, we could end up with people who can't get on the train because, as I just described. So what we'll do is we'll implement that now, and then we'll see how it goes. Now, I quite like these trains here that we've got. This is the BR103 with 6 cars on the back. I believe, if I remember, the BR103 is the 200 kilometre an hour train. Let me just double check that. Yes, it is. 200 kilometre an hour train with cars on the back that can do 200 Ks. Yep. So that's a rather nice choice of a train stack for intercity. Whether it needs as many cars, maybe not. Maybe we could trim that down. But we'll have to suck it and see. But what we do need to do is make sure that all the line connections can work. So here's the green line coming into here. That can carry on straight through. So that's fine. So Mablethorpe is fine. Romsey, Bradford, we know is fine. Can it come into Bradford and turn around? We know it can because it already does. That's the pink one there. So this will be the end point for our new line. Need to look at what's on there at the moment. Series 1042s. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll get rid of that. The Bradford to Romsey train. Is that the one we get rid of? Yeah, we'll get rid of the Bradford to Romsey train. And then we'll delete the Bradford-Romsey line altogether, which is that. And then we'll go up to here, and we'll have a look at this one here. This is Loughton to Romsey. Loughton to Romsey has the BR103s that we want, so we'll extend this now. So we'll say, after you get to Romsey, go down to Bradford. So that makes it a much longer run. They've got 4 trains on there at the moment, and then what we want to do is look at the Loughton to Mablethorpe, and we're going to get rid of these vehicles completely. So Loughton to Mablethorpe is gone. We'll remove the line, and then we'll take this and say, right, when you get to Loughton Exchange, carry on, and go to, if I can find you, Mablethorpe. And just for good measure, I'm going to colour that a different colour because I can see a lot of clashing going on. So maybe we'll go for like a bright yellow. There we go. And then what we'll do is we'll manage the vehicles on that. We'll try to colour them a bright yellow. And I would suggest we'll have a couple more. And we will have to monitor that and just see what happens. We'll see how the intercity model goes. Some people are also requesting me to take a drive on the train. So, you know, like I started off with on the plane there. You know, we can do that, and it is cool to do it, don't get me wrong. But it is an element of me sat here with you driving a train when we should be actually doing logistic things. So I think what we might do is, you know, perhaps towards the end of the series, we'll take a look at some of the bigger lines and take a ride on some of the bigger lines, because it is cool. Like when I live stream this stuff on Twitch, don't get me wrong, it is a lot of fun. We often jump on these trains and just drive the line, particularly when they're like this, like really scenic across a massive bridge. But you can't beat a nice high-speed train route. They're always great fun. It's also nice to see the cities develop. You see the skyscrapers in the distance. They're so cool. And you get to see them on the train itself. You also get to experience, like bottom right there, the actual speed of the train, like it's doing 200 Ks. They are pretty quick trains, these, but they do go quicker later. Anyway, so if we just jump out of there for a second. And what we'll have to do is just keep our eye on the finance situations of these. You can see that train was losing money before. Oh, hello. Ah. That's no good. That's no good at all. Okay, yeah, I think that was just a... Yeah, okay. That's fine. We had it coming into the same platform as the green line. It had defaulted to the bad platform. That's a lot of people. Bradford Lee packs. That is a lot of people going from Bradford to Lee. There is a scope here to go from Lee up to Mitcheldean, isn't there? And do the same thing. Lee to Mitcheldean. Yeah, we've got the same situation here as well. What trains have they got? They've got those trains. I think we'll replace that with a similar Intercity one now. Now we've just spotted it. There's a ton of people there. They would really benefit from a nice high-speed train. So let's do that. Bradford to Lee. We'll replace these first. Place selected. We'll chuck in BR103. We'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those cars. We'll colour them a nice orange colour. We'll chuck in an extra one for now. And then we'll extend that line. I just want to check what happens when it gets into here. Yeah, as I thought, it's coming in. This needs to change in order for this to work, because obviously these trains are going to get replaced in a second. In fact, we'll just do it now, I think. We'll sell all those. And we'll pause it a second, and we'll just modify this bit. Track. Now, can we squeak a little interchange there? That's the question. Not that we really need it, but I just like having them. Because they give you options later if you need it. There we go. And then we'll put the signal back. Oh, game! Why you default like this? Okay. Alright. So you're going to go into there like that. So this line here, from Lee to Mitcheldean, that's going to go. And then after it gets from Lee, it's going to go... Hang on, it's going to go to Bradford. Oh, I need to make it stop again. I think I need to go and change the other line. 1 second. I think I made a mistake here. So it goes from Lee to Bradford, then it goes back to Lee. And then it goes up to here, Mitcheldean, and then back again. Yeah, that's what it should be doing. Except this is no longer correct. Which one is that? That's Lee to Mitcheldean. Lee coming back again. Platform 1. There we go. Good. Right. So that's now correct. We've got the trains that we want, and we'll have to see how that goes. Let's unpause it. I'll just put it on normal speed for a second. Yeah, I've messed up this line thing here. I must have done. Also, the name needs to change, doesn't it? Because it's now Bradford, Lee to Mitcheldean, so technically that needs to change to Mitcheldean packs like that. This one here is going to be Loughton to... It's Mablethorpe, I think, isn't it? Actually, no. It's... Crikey, it's a lot longer than that. It's not that line at all. It's now Bradford to Mablethorpe packs. It's a big line. So let's just double check. It's going to start off in, say, Bradford here. It's then going to come up to... After Bradford, it needs to come to Romsey Halt, like that. Where it's going to stop at platform... Platform 2? Yeah, platform 2, which is this one. Then it's going to go all the way up to Loughton Exchange, which is going to... Because the problem at the moment is they're not stopping both ways anymore, which I neglected to adjust. Loughton Exchange, then it's going up to Mablethorpe, then it's going to come back to Loughton again, only this time it's going to stop on... Okay, 1 second. Oh, that's not a cargo line. Passenger. Oh, no. This is not good. This is not good at all. We're going to have to... Like, basically, one side of this is a passenger and the other side is cargo. So that's a big rip. We're going to have to use that platform. We're going to have to adjust this track here. Let's get this out of the way and adjust the track. Yeah, we can't easily replace that cargo platform with the packs because of the size difference. They are very, very different beasts. So what we're going to have to do is trash this coming in. And then we're going to have to go to that side there. It also makes it much harder to have the diamond interchange because you have to kind of push it all the way out here if you want it. Arguably, it's not terribly useful now, but we'll put it there anyway. So it's there if you need it. And then we'll have to delete this track back a bit more. It's going to be a bit of a harsh turn as well, which is going to slow things down a bit earlier than you'd ideally like. Let's get rid of that. So that's going to have to turn into there. Actually, 112 is not so bad. I was thinking it might be worse than that. Yeah, so again, you know, trying to put a diamond on this requires you to more or less do it here before the tunnel. So we'll just get rid of that and that. Don't know if it'll let us do it while there's a train on the track. Let's find out. Oh, blimey, it does. Right, and then the signals. So we've got the signal there just before the merge, and then we'll put one after. Before the diamond, and then after. And they can split off like that. That's fine. And then that's a bit close to that. So I propose deleting those signals, and we'll just have them here instead before the diamond. They shouldn't need to do it because trains are not realistically going to be using this anymore. Right, so now we need to get the platform number of this exchange correct, which means this is the southbound line, Ramsey. So this is coming back again. So that's going to be platform. Blimey. It's kind of hard to visualize this, isn't it? Can you go on 2 like that? There we go. Yeah, that looks good. So now it's stopping at Loughton Exchange both ways. Goes to Mablethorpe, then it comes down after Loughton Exchange, comes into Ramsey, halt, platform 1. So it stops at Ramsey twice, it stops at Loughton Exchange twice, and then it stops at Bradford and Mablethorpe once, which is, I believe, correct, but there's still some issues with the train. So the train was in the platform when we reconfigured things. I think it's got a bit stuck, so we'll just turn it around. It usually kicks it off on its way. There you go. Yeah, I think that's good. So we've sorted that out now. There's a lot of passengers building up here. Bradford to Mitcheldean. But you notice, like, these trains now are quite big capacity, high-speed trains, so they should take a lot of those packs when it arrives now. Let's just watch it. 318, there it goes. There's a huge capacity. I'll take a big bite out of that. Brilliant. Okay. Right. So, hopefully you understood what we just did. We talked it through. Sorry it was a bit in-depth. But it is a big change. Like, we've now changed this from a shuttle service to an intercity service with a hub at Bradford. So if you want to go from Mablethorpe to Bradford, you're going to get on the train there. You're going to come all the way to here. And then you're going to change onto the other train and take that line. Up to, say, you know, Mitcheldean. So, you know, that's the way the network's currently working. We can add more tweaks to it later, but I think we'll just leave it at that for now and see how it gets on. Which brings me to, I think, Thatcham. Now, I am acutely aware at the moment that Romsey is on a fast train line, and Thatcham doesn't have any train passenger service, I don't believe. Thatcham Mablethorpe packs, actually, apart from that one. So in theory, if you want to go from Thatcham to Romsey, your options are take a train to Mablethorpe, then take a train all the way down to Romsey, or get on the bus from Romsey to Thatcham. Now, having looking at what's going on here, we can see there's an awful lot of people want to get the bus from Thatcham to Romsey. And if we look at Thatcham's destinations layer, we can see that a significant number of people do actually want to go to Romsey. Like, a lot of people are, you know, going around Thatcham itself, but a lot of people do want to go to Romsey. The bus line is not the best thing in the world, is it? Can we replace it with a train? Well, yes, we can. We've got the big platform here, and what we could do is shuttle people from Thatcham around to here, or we could extend Mablethorpe's line, because Mablethorpe already comes to Thatcham, so it could come here and then through to there. Yeah? Oh, that looks nice. The Maz 103. Nice. 100 kilometers? Blimey. We do need to have a review of our vehicles. So yeah, I think that's probably what we'll do, is we'll have a train that comes through here and drops off at Romsey, and that give people very good options for how they get down to Romsey. It's a bit of a tight turn out of here, but it's more than doable. The only thing we need to look at is our train lines, and it all looks good in that perspective. Well, I think we've got cargo going through here. Yeah, that's the alcohol food line. We've got the Pax branch up to Mablethorpe there, and we're going to have the new one come in here. The big problem is if we want to have a straight through train service, we have to come into here and then get out that way, which means effectively crossing over this freight line. There is no way around this. We've got to cross this freight line if we want to make this intercity thing work. So then you sort of think to yourself, is it worth it? Is it worth having an intercity service that crosses over, or should we just have a shuttle there and a shuttle here? On balance, I would probably go with a shuttle. I would take people from Thatcham to Romsey. So if people do want to go, they can take the intercity service that way, or they can take the two shuttles, basically. And it means not having to mess about with lines too much. I'm also looking at this while we're here. There's always something to do in this game. We're going to replace all of these with some big boys. We'll get stuff delivered that way, because there's just clearly not enough food capacity going on anymore. Yeah, they need more grain, and they need more... Yeah, okay. That's a separate problem. So let's just do the shuttle thing, because we've got the PAX platform available, and we don't have to mess about and cross over the freight line, which would slow everything down. And we'll see how it goes. Also, while we're here, we'll do the train first, and then we'll check our bus routes, because you'll notice how big Thatcham is now, and I guarantee you our bus routes are nowhere near adequate for this, and probably our road network either, which is probably what's causing the problem, why people aren't actually able to get on the bus and get down there quickly. So what we'll do is we'll add... We only, technically speaking, need another single platform. Actually, we only need one track looking at it, because we've already got the platform available, so we'll just do that. We'll just add this on top like that. Incidentally, you can upgrade these like roof bits if you want to. This stuff, you can just configure this and remove it and get rid of the roofing like that. Trouble is, it takes a little while because it has a little think about it. The downside is, and this frustrates me, it's not easy to replace the building. You have to trash the building, then put the new one back in order to get the new one. And it's the same thing with the platform. There's no upgrade. Just upgrade the platform. Just give me the shiny new platform. Like, you can't click on it to upgrade it in any way. There's no upgrade tool. So what you basically have to do is delete that platform. I'll show you. You have to basically come in, delete what you've done, like that, and then put the new platform back again, and then put the track back after that. It's a little bit frustrating. I would really like if they'd have given us an upgrade on that, on the roof, on the platform, on the actual building itself, because when you get in like into year 2000, it can be a bit weird just having these Victorian style buildings outside, particularly if you do what I'm doing here, where you upgrade one thing and not the other. So let me just put that in like that, so people can move between the platforms easily. And then you come along, you stick your fancy roof on, you know, whatever style you want. And it all looks cool and modern. But it looks weird. Because you've got this old brick building, and you've got this fantastic shiny one. You know? It needs sorting out, I think. But anyway, let's just have a quick look at these buses, because they are struggling, aren't they? There's a lot of big buses there. But that's a heck of a run down to Lee, isn't it? That's the massive Lee run. So there's a huge demand from Romsey to Lee. At the moment, they have to take a train there and jump back. So they obviously prefer to go with the shortest method, which is fine. We need to look at that, but we're getting distracted again. So let's just come back here and sort one problem out before we move on to another one. So which line do we go for? Which platform? Do we go for the inside one or that one? That's the big $1 million question. Given we're in the corner of a map, I would suggest we can probably take the inside one, which is this. And we want to go off in that direction, so we want to just keep the speed up. 100, I would suggest, is okay. We haven't really got anything we can follow in terms of a road or anything like that. We just come through there. What happens if we do that? Well, if we do that, we get a straight line and a nice tunnel. So I think that's okay. We'll take that. Keeps it 1.4 million. That's nothing to us these days. Nothing at all. And then we'll have that branch off like that. This, and then we'll just branch that out like this. Lovely. It will be hard to put a switcheroonie on here. You can put it in one way, but when you try and put it the other way, it quite often will fight you, but we've managed to do it, which is great. And then we'll have one... No, we don't need one down here. So signals, we'll have auto-sig yes, so we'll go like that. And then we'll have one just before that junction. And then we'll have one just there. Okay. So the final question then is, how do we get trains onto that line? Well, it's hard to get them from here. There's a depot there, so what we could do is just have a little feeder track that comes in like that. Just do it that way. And that would allow a train to come along here and then jump over here so we can carry on that way. I think that's the better solution because we can just use that depot there. So we're going to go from Thatcham down to Romsey, or we'll call it the way, we'll call it Romsey Thatcham Packs. What colour should we have? Let's go for a... Maybe like a light blue, because cyan. How's that? Go from here to here. Good stuff. And then the main thing is now, like, what train do we use? If we have a look at what's going on up to Mablethorpe, I think we stuck those shuttles on initially. They're not doing terribly well. They're doing okay. We have a look at the finances for the whole thing. Actually, last time it did pretty good money last year. Don't know, we can probably give them something a little bit better than that. I do like these for starting lines off, but they're not amazing in the long run. They do 125. This Mirage obviously does 125, but it's much higher capacity. But maybe you're just better off swapping in something else, particularly on that line, because it's quite a long run. They would probably benefit from having a higher speed. But will it bring the money in? That's the big question. You know, can it be cost effective? A diesel train, 1.1 million, maybe. Problem with the electrics is the running costs. They're fiercely expensive. Like, if you look at this, the running cost of this, it's like it's not even $500,000. This one's 2.2, so you know, on balance, it's not a bad bet just leaving it and seeing if we need to scale it later to one of these things. They're pretty good shuttles. That's the thing about them. But if you need the capacity... Oh, look at that. Bradford to Mablethorpe. What's the frequency on this line? 3 minutes. Chuck a couple more on that. Try and get that frequency up a bit. Yeah, look at this. Massive losses on our Intercity line right now. Massive losses. Let's give it time to settle down. In the meantime, we'll chuck a couple of these shuttles out on here. I think 3, actually. 4? No, not 4. That was a misclick. 3 will do. Cyan. And we'll assign them to... I hope they can figure out how to get there. They should be able to. Now, what we need to do, because we've got those, we'll just give those trains a second to get out there. And we need to basically stop people getting on this bus route now. The Romsey Thatcham buses are now competing with the trains, effectively. So what we need to do is delete all these vehicles, like that. And then we'll manage the line, and then just delete the line. That's gone. So now people come into this station. Hopefully these will all now go... Oh, great. So now we can't get the bus. Oh, wait. You can get the train. Our new high-speed cyan-coloured train. Also just noticed the amount of time he sat there waiting to get to a signal. I'll just put a little branch signal there. Because it's sat here waiting for that block to be free. So we need that there just to allow him to jump on that track. There he goes. So yeah, all these packs will now take the train line. There they are. They just appeared here. Amazing how that works. Just come in here and teleport there. And hopefully that line will do okay, given the numbers of passengers they had. I think the demand's there. So I think we either have more shuttles or, like I say, upgrade to the bigger ones. Thatcham. I said we'd sort Thatcham out. What we're going to do is just look at the bus lanes and see whether things need tweaking or not. So Thatcham buses is this one. We'll double click it. We'll pin that. We'll have a look. We can see what's going on. Is it actually able to stay in a bus lane? And the answer is yes, it is. So that's good. Is it serving the population as a whole? Not really. Also, what are these here? Okay, they're trucks. And they're taking the bus lane. Got a feeling that's coming down residential areas. Yeah. This is all residential here. And these trucks coming through here, it's trucks barreling down your road, basically. Which is not a popular move. It also means that these trucks need to be efficient. They need to be maintained properly because they're going to make a lot of noise. A lot of emissions, and it's going to go through residential areas and just, you know, really trash them. So what we need to do is probably upgrade them to the newer ones, and then we'll put them on a slightly higher maintenance cycle just to make sure that their emissions don't cause any massive issues going through the residency. Now, in terms of the bus stops, is this a good bus setup? Probably not. Probably not. I would argue, you know, we can do better. It's not a bad run, though. It's quite a short run. It gets into the station, but I'm not sure it actually captures everything that's going on now. So I think what we're going to have to do is come in and upgrade some of these roads and create ourselves another loop, effectively. Because we need to be, I think, out here. Looks like a good bet. So, you know, actually, we need to go further out this way, don't we? Blimey. Something like that, so we can create a circuit through all this housing, and then we can just interchange down that main road there. This main road here might benefit from a significant upgrade. There you go. So you've got a 6-lane there, and then a 6-lane going through here, which allows a lot of these trucks and things to not get stuck and allows a bit more traffic if we need it. Noticing a lot of traffic is going that way. So they do appear to be using... Ah, that explains why. That's a major road right through there, isn't it? Okay, let's cause havoc in Thatcham. There we go. And then that needs to be a non... Oh, not possible. Interesting. Why not possible? Is that because it's got trees on it? Ah, it's because of this little join road, I think. Let's get rid of that. Yeah, there's a lot of traffic is... Let's do that. But you know what? Let's just, let's completely annoy the neighborhood. Let's do this. There we go. And then we'll upgrade that and that. Okay. Those that want to take the road, they now can. Bus stations. Let's get... Oops, I just clicked something. I don't know what I just clicked. Right, so we've built this little bus loop here. And we needed to complement that one. So I would suggest... If we stay going with the clockwise thing, we can use those bus stops. And then we'll just have one back this way. Just space them out so we get the nice catchment. And then Thatcham bus is 1. We need a Thatcham bus is 2. Make it a darker blue. And we'll go like that. And then we need to find the depot, wherever the depot is. There it is. They built houses all around the depot. I can't believe that. Right, capacity or speed. Well, that's quite nice. That's 100k. That's nuts, that is. That's a great intercity bus, isn't it? We're not going to need high speed particularly. Capacity's quite nice. One of these two I'd suggest. Probably this one. Okay, that should improve the transportation around Thatcham. That allows people to get around, it allows them to get on the train. We just need to look at what's going on here. Let's get rid of all this. Get rid of those bus stops. Yeah, that should improve things quite a bit. Thatcham's emissions is not bad now. Minus 30%. Minus 40 I start to think is not a great number, but 30's okay. 20 you're doing pretty well. Traffic, stations, not great. We've got a lot of public transport going on. We've also got a lot of private transport going on. Still a lot of private traffic going down here, which is a bit worrying. I would question where they're going. It looks like they're driving past this way, which means they're probably going Thatcham to Lee, possibly. Lee's not a major destination. Bradford is quite a significant destination. Bradford really is a hub. So I think they're driving down to Bradford, is what I think they're doing. The Volvo 5000. Where have you been all my life? I think they're driving from Thatcham down to Bradford, so we may have to consider... Having said that, they should be able to exchange here now. What's the demand? There's quite a bit of demand going on. You know, I think I am going to just go ahead and upgrade those things straight off the bat. I think we'll just replace them. I think there's capacity there, I think. And hopefully we can start to eat into some of that private traffic that I think is going to Bradford. Because what I want them to do is get that shuttle train to here now. Jump on the Intercity and get down to Bradford that way. I think that's a much better solution for us. Other than that, things are looking okay. So that, I mean, this episode's long enough, guys, but we've done a significant change here. We've got an Intercity type train. We've fixed the bus service over at Twickenham. Thank you for pointing that out. We've fixed a lot of stuff here at Thatcham. Every city will have its own little issues. It is a constant game of keeping on top of things. There is no way around it, really. That's just the nature of the game. I think somebody pointed out in the comments, like, it feels a bit micromanagement at this stage because, you know, you're having to keep your eye on so many things. And, you know, I can't argue, they're not wrong. Mods increase the map, increase the complexity, give you more stuff that you have to keep your eye on. There's lots of things in this map right now that need tweaking and adjusting. In the next video, what we're going to do, we're going to start looking at some of the vehicles, right? Because some of you have pointed out that I've still got steam trains on the oil line. That's not actually true. I did upgrade it. I just didn't show you that. There is still a steam train on the map, though, and we're going to go and sort that out. So in the next video, we're going to review the vehicles and get those things up to date and look at the capacity on the lines and upgrade as necessary. But for this video, we've come to the end. So please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Hope you did indeed enjoy it, and don't forget to sub if you're new here. And also, if you want to become a YouTube member and get some cool emoticons and emojis to use and a sub badge and support me as a content creator, don't forget you can also do that. That's it. Take it easy, guys. Happy constructing.